Thanks, CJ. That was really cool. And thank you for everyone at the Cogut for having us at this event. My name is Kiran. I'm in the English department, and I'm going to begin with a brief description, and I promise that I will have a point. So 35 USD covers admission to Sun World's Bana Hills Resort, located in the Trung Sung Mountains, just west of the coastal city of Da Nang. A place famous for its beaches, as well as for housing what was, during the Vietnam War, the world's busiest aircraft hub, operating until the city's fall to the Communist Army in May of 1975. One of the longest single-track cable cars in the world takes you past the cloud line to something surreal. Bana Hills is part old-fashioned French village. The surrounding site was founded in 1901 as a leisure compound under the French Indochina regime. It's part Buddhist retreat, minus the spiritualism, but plus a 27-meter tall Buddha statue famous on Instagram, and part hyperreal Disney World, with castles the texture of something between paper mache and brick that are described in the promotional materials as bringing, quote, the European Renaissance to Vietnam. It's complete too, with exclusively Slavic seasonal performers donning sweat-stained princess dresses and similarly disheveled military-inspired marching band uniforms, the latter armed with brass instruments warped from the heat, and both tirelessly at the ready to perform Bruno Mars's Uptown Funk at the top of each hour in the central square. With accolades from the likes of Time, The Guardian, and the Vietnam National Administration of Tourism, Bana Hills is interestingly not just a tourist attraction for foreigners, but makes the bulk of its revenue from domestic tourists who are part of a growing Vietnamese leisure class. This is to say, strolling through the cobblestone path of the faux marble Grecian statue garden with a hot dog in hand, awashed in the glow of such an unholy collision of imperialism and capitalism, one might wonder, a la Hartman, if home ought to have felt more triumphant, more natural. And later, with the mountains of Bana Hills and the country receding from view many miles up in the air, one might be reminded that such a feeling was not unique to the hills. We already know the name of some richly theorized configurations of racialized psyche under domination, Egenhan's racial melancholia and Wilderson's Afro-pessimism, among others. Alongside these models, however, I'm interested in strategies for studying racialized subjectivity that rest on less ontologically determined grounds. That is, skills that are attentive to disparities in wealth, power, and experiences of racialization, at the same time that they attend to the more ephemeral, non-cathartic, and non-teleological feelings and effectual registers that shape such subjects' apprehension of diasporic existence in the first place. Informed by the ethos and methodology of classic women of color texts, such as This Bridge Called My Back, and its progeny in the form of queer of color critique and other race, sexuality, and class literate forms of affective psychoanalytic theory, I ask a different set of questions about the relationship between the personal, the political, and cultural production. Given the seemingly sedimented binaries for theorizing racial life in the US context that runs something like resistance versus assimilation, or regainability versus loss, etc. And given how hastily marshaled under the latter terms outwardly non-political feelings and their oft female, oft non-heteronormative, and oft working class owners find themselves, I cast a closer look at such subjects' performances of seemingly weak forms of feeling considered too passive to do properly political work. In the chapter that I'm working on now on the Atlanta spa shootings, for example, I ask, what is really the content of the state's injunction as expressed in the COVID-19 Hate Crimes Act that America will, quote, always remember, quote, the victims? Indeed, slid in a document that, while it goes lengths to highlight Asian industrialists and the value it adds to the social fabric of America, has nothing to say about gender or the precariousness of the racialized and gendered low-skilled labor at the heart of the matter. In the face of such remembering that I argue can be better understood less as a neutral mode of memorialization than as the very form that comes to dictate memory's most politically soothing shape, I turn to the work of queer artists, Asian American children of such spa women like Ocean Vuong and ceramicist Christian Din to study practices of missing that are unable and most importantly, uninterested in injunctions to remember that promise that there exists a knowable, rescuable object that can be preserved in such time as the arrival of imagined future. Thanks.